Here we are, La Jolla, Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. A little windier than forecast. This is normal, they're never right. So, kind of rough, but Kyle came in and said, actually, it was actually rougher earlier. It's calmed down a little bit. Okay, that was a rough takeoff. There were a bunch of sets one. I mean, they were like a second or two behind each other. And there were a bunch of high ones. Got out here, but yeah, the damn wind is a lot rougher than predicted, for sure. I think we'll be probably not covering as much water today. Pick a spot, stick around a little more. Okay, it's sprinkling here. Washing machine. Definitely not that 6 miles an hour wind it predicted. Looks a lot worse. Most of this is wind driven. Got over some rough surf on the way out, man. There was some big sets. We're here, finally settled in. Had to put splash jacket on, splash jacket, splash pants, because it got cold. I was going to bring my jacket out, and then I forgot it in the car. Once I got out here and it started sprinkling, I went, oh man, I forgot to get the jacket. So I got this one's lighter, but my hoodie, even though it's fleece, man, it was like constant sprinkle like mist, between a mist and a light sprinkle. Started to get pretty damp, so good thing I put this on, that way I'll warm it up and dry it out from the inside. But eventually when the fleeces get wet, the wind goes through and it feels cold, so now I'm fine. But definitely did want to bring that other jacket because I had a hunch it was going to be that kind of sprinkly crap. I wasn't counting on this rough weather. Got the biggest greenback I caught. He's a good 13 inches. He's a big guy. So I knew that it wouldn't be so great on the tank. I got like 3 or 4 other greenbacks and like 5 or 6 Spanish. Got plenty of live bait. Looking around, I haven't seen any other signs other than baseball areas, and right now I just got it on idle. Going 1.8. We're kind of slowly making our way out. Man, part of the time the current is so big you can't. That's what I don't like is you can't really drift. When I did put it in neutral, and I'd be making bait or whatever, next thing I know I'm like back at the reserve line. I'm going like, man, I had to move a couple of times. And I go like, damn, I'm moving like a block in a couple of minutes. It's way too fast when it's drifting. So I had a hunch. It was that way too with the current the other day, last couple of trips. Makes it really hard to drift in any good way. So let's see for some better signs. It's certainly not going to be trolling and covering more water in this weather. It is just constantly flying over wakes. So even trolling speed of 4 miles an hour. Like when I was making it out here, I couldn't go much faster than 7.8, 8 miles an hour, because you'd fly over, and sometimes you'd come over and hit 2 of the next one. You'd plow right through them. So when it's this rough, yeah, we're not sitting high enough. Even a lot of boats, unless you had a good 25, 26 footer, it wouldn't be a fun day out here. Even day, boats rock a lot more. The way they rock side to side, pretty sickening. This rocks a bit, but you're close to the water, so your movement's actually less. But hey, it's fishing. Nobody said it's always sunny and beautiful. What makes it beautiful is when you're holding a nice big trophy like sea bass or yellowtail. Then that's a whole different ball game. But right now, we're just looking around, covering the areas here, hoping for a better sight. Again, a constant sprinkle. Again, that guy's moving good. So I'll probably drift it once I get out to a spot farther away from the reserve. I got tired of all of a sudden, I have to move again because I'm almost at the reserve line. But this 1,900-foot section out here, just outside the reserve, a little north of the cove, it's a pretty hot spot. A lot of times, several of my friends have caught yellows right in here. I've caught my mako here. one or two yellows. Most of them, though, the yellows are a little bit farther south or quite a bit farther north, but not generally in this spot. Hopefully for the better ones. Now that we're all bundled up and warm, covered up, let's see if we can. There's another kayak. There were 3 kayaks at lunch before I did, or when I was setting up. There's one of them over there. When I think it was one ocean kayak, and then the other 2 were Hobies. And Kyle came in like he usually does when I came in. But he said that, yeah, it was rough out there, and he saw good marks, but that was it. He hadn't caught anything good, so. Been lots of good marks the last few trips. Problem is you need them to bite. He's saying the same thing. You know, they'll be starting to bite soon. I go, like, yep, we're all thinking the same thing. We're all thinking like it could be any day, and you got to be here. You don't want to be the guy that's sitting at home. Oh man, I should have gone yesterday. Look, they caught several yellowtail. So can't get out of here as often as I like. Used to make it here 1 to 3 times a week. The average was once. But sometimes a perfect window or the bite or something, combination of factors, and I could be out here 3 times in the week. But round trip of 100 miles to home back to here is not always feasible. It's a little bit expensive nowadays, price of gas. Traffic, look, white caps out here. Jeez Louise. I was hoping maybe they were like yellows busting, like a cast on it or something, but no, it's just white caps from, again, the slop here. Oh man. Good thing I set up high and dry. I would have hated this on my Revo. The Revo was so close to the water, the waves just came over the side all the time. Malibu's a little bit better. You did get hit by one, the waves get deflected differently. The Revo's too rounded and it would just come right over. But crazy, look at that. Look at the white cap. Insane. Wait a bit. Hard, probably can't see him on the GoPro, but I see him all over the place. About a couple 100 yards from me, 100 yards from me. They're all over. They're just, now I'm starting to see them everywhere instead of just in one area. Crazy weather patterns. The wind's only supposedly getting worse in the next few days. Still trolling that big green bass, big, well, 13-incher. Water's still pretty messed up. There's still a lot of white caps, but it seems like it's maybe slightly less rough than it was a little while ago, maybe an hour ago. But it's still not a fun day out here regarding the weather surface. The drift is too fast. Keep seeing big pockets of bait again. I mean, much larger than this. It's just another one that's starting to come on something. But just no individual fish marks. Today I have not seen anything that looks like better marks of fish. I know there's a lot of threshers out here this time of year and stuff, but the water is still 62.6. 62.6 is cold. Cold for this time of year here anyway. Normally we got a lot warmer, probably even 66 or 7, but you know, weather water we would have bought now. It had gotten to 64 a couple of weeks ago, and then all of a sudden it dropped down and seems to be hanging on at this temperature the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Okay, maybe that's slowed down the fight and why it hasn't picked up yet. Everybody keeps saying the same thing. Everybody sees based on marks and bait. The fight out it kick on any time. But that's as much as we know. We have no idea why it doesn't. Why it has these weird cycles. The weather's not all, the water is not all of a sudden 4 degrees warmer, you know, 3-4 miles farther out. It's just this whole weather, this forecast is, you know, keep getting stuff out of the north, get colder, or a storm from the south, but nothing's tropical yet. Nothing's warmer. That's definitely the constant, is that the water is not warm. Yeah. Keep rolling around that Mac. We're going like 1.8, sometimes 2 miles an hour, 1.4. All depends on the current, you know, direction we're going in. We keep going over all these areas where there's a lot of other baits. Just need to see some individual fish marks, and surprising that something hasn't hit it, or the last couple of trips, same thing. Very strange. So there's definitely fish there, and a lot of threshers. Maybe some of those marks I saw a lot of last week, that when there weren't dolphins around and there were marks of some bigger fish. And in numbers too, they weren't like that too. That could have been some threshers. One guy was talking to at the lunch, he was nice. He said that last week he comes out here, I guess on Tuesday. He said there was a seal playing with a fish, tossing it up in the air, and when he got closer and looked at it, it was a thresher, a small thresher. I go, I've never seen that, so it must have been pretty small thresher, or a big seal too. But yeah, I've seen plenty of times where they got something bigger, even a smaller yellow or something, but I've never seen them get a shark before. See, and then all this stuff, you see some kind of a breakup other than the surface lines that the solo moving up and down. That's where it loses the signal when it changes the angle of the transducer. But if you saw some more breakups that opened up, all of a sudden there was a big break in the solid parts, and you saw marks through, and you know that's through the fish. Right now, just lots of bait and no signs of other fish. Keep searching. Hey, there's a section here where all of a sudden the flows of waves are getting a little bigger. Well, I couple them like, holy crap, all of a sudden it's 3 foot, and next time I was like, whoop, over and past. I don't know if the wind's picking up much more or not. It's just, it wasn't like this. I mean, it's around in different areas, but look at that. Whoop. Crazy. It's 121 feet. It doesn't look like with the wind it ought to be this bad. Sure, a lot worse than it seems like it ought to be. There's another storm coming, I don't know. Definitely a lot more than just wind river. Still trolling that big Mac. See, there's big marks up above near, like about 30, 25, 30 feet down. I got my Mac back there. There's a couple of marks going across. You see, we're 134 feet of water. Water's getting colder. It's at 62.3 now. Went from 62.6 to 62.4, now it's 62.3. Getting colder. But see, individual marks here. What could be bigger fish swimming through, but nothing's attracted to my Mac yet. Weird. See, the one kayaker, he seemed to have gone in a little tighter over there, close to the cove building, and then there's a boat that came on, and he's over there away inside. And there's several boats out farther. But, oh my God, you can actually still see the Coronado over there. It was super clear the other day, not today. I can make them out though, which is normally not the case. At least 2 of them. almost up here. More boats getting closer though. Kayaks went in. Trying to get back out to deeper water again. The drift is so ridiculously fast. I got the dropper loop. I've added a weight to my mackerel, and so I got him deeper. And I'd start out at 90, 94 feet. In less than 4 minutes, I'm at 60 feet. It's ridiculous. Slowly getting a little bit better. A little blue sky way out in the deep, but not along the coast. So the heaviest started at 110. Keep drifting very fast still, but I got that right in that mix, that stuff right into here. I got my mackerel down there. I added a 8-ounce weight so I can keep him whatever depth I want to keep him at within the leader. That's about 6 feet. So he's in there in the middle of that mix right now. I said it's lightened up a little bit. Every once in a while we still get some big rollers coming through. It's not quite as sloppy as it was, but still not great. A couple of the boats have come a little closer. Kayaks I haven't seen in a while. I think they went in. One guy had gone in real tight, and the other guy I never saw, but he started going a little bit north, and then I couldn't see him anymore. I doubt very much with this weather that he went way over to Torrey Pines. But I was hoping that through that mix somewhere in there, there's something else, you know, maybe a white sea bass, halibut. Yeah, let's see, we're drifted back down to 57 feet. And even in the thick, my guy is right in the middle of that, right around the 50 mark. So just above the bottom with a 8-ounce on the weight added to the swivel part there off the 6-foot leader. I don't know, it's not as sloppy now, but drifting still too fast. No individual signs of mark of good fish. All the boats that were around here, or a few that were scattered, they've all moved to different spots. I don't think anybody's getting anything unless you focused on calico, then shallow or something. So I think I'm gonna call it in. It's almost low tide. Really not falling asleep sitting here drifting, waiting for something to happen. So, unfortunately, it's like one of those slow days. Haven't lost even a mac. I still got that one big guy, and the tank's all full of other ones, so I get to let them all go. Until next trip, certainly hope better weather window.